Call the meeting to order for the Town of Monroe on September 4th, 2019. Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we just have a moment of silence in memory of Senator Larkin, who passed away this week, and he will be buried tomorrow. Thank you. I just want to read something from Senator Larkin's mass card. His wake was this afternoon. It says, "To those I loved and those who loved me, when I am gone, release me and let me go. I have so many things to do and see. You must not tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had so many years. I gave you my love, you can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I thank you for all the love you each have shown, but now it's time I traveled on alone. So grieve a while for me if grieve you must, then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories in your heart. If you listen with your heart, you'll hear my love around you real and clear, and then when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and say welcome home." I think Senator Larkin was probably one of the best statesmen that this county has ever seen, and I will tell you that I actually had a conversation with former Councilman Weeks this afternoon, and he was very informative about what Senator Larkin did for the town of Monroe. Multiple millions of dollars in grant money for various projects. Some monies, particularly for this building. He also gave us a grant for a new sweeper, which was $265,000 in November of 16. He has also provided us with $250,000 in grant money for our new town hall renovations, and he as well has provided us with $400,000 this year as well for road improvements. Those road improvements should be completed by the end of October, beginning of November. I know John and his crew have been working on Lake Region Boulevard, and on Tuesday they started some preliminary work up on School Road. So please keep his family in your prayers. It was a very moving thing to see today with the way they had the wake set up. So to his family, we all give them our condolences and wish them well in the future. Okay, I need a motion to open up the town board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. I'll make a motion to open up the continuation of the public hearing for the proposed amendment of Chapter 57 of the Town Code.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. We have anybody that signed up?
Ward Brower?
Ward Brower, private citizen.
Good evening.
Thank you. Refresh my memory. Is this the one with the CCR?
This is, the
Okay.
conservation.
This is going on. This is all along. I'm becoming senile with it. But if you like the concept of clustering and saving open space, which I do, and a lot of people do, they got a problem with it because preserving it, open space, keeping it forever green. And as I brought up many times in the past, that to rely on either the state to have a state designated park has its drawbacks because then we opened up a property through the entire state. To rely on just the benevolence of the town board has its problems because every 2 years you could have a change in the mood of the town board. That's why I proposed to put it before the voters. Let the voters decide if they wanted to do away with the green area. So it's not something that can be changed in one election. And if you can get, like I said, parameters would be 2/3 of the total registered voters. If they agree with that, then that's the sentiment of the community. That's how it should be. The other problem I had with it is the bedroom count, which has been a flaw in all these zoning forever. And we're having a ramification of that later on in the evening, another public hearing with regards to the water district. And that is, for the water district, when that project first came out, Smith Farms, that was conceived for a standard-sized family. But that's been flipped. Now it's a supersized family. So all those parameters that they measured for water consumption, sewage generation, those don't apply anymore. That's why they're having a bedroom count, as I said, it's a rubber number. It stretches and shrinks. It's meaningless. We need to go back to an occupant count, get a real number. And an occupant count, as I said, when you propose an occupant count, you let the developer state how many people he wants in that dwelling, and then do a secret, see if it works. You don't restrict it. Sky's the limit, but he has to do a secret. Those are my comments. They've been my comments from day one. That's the two fatal flaws with this code. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all that signed up.
Anybody else want to comment? No? So we need a motion to keep the public hearing open or close the public hearing?
Make a motion to keep the public hearing open.
I will second that motion.
We need to state a date and a time.
So September 23rd at 7 PM for Chapter 57.
Sounds like a plan.
Mary seconded it.
Yes.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. We need a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for proposed changes to Article 14 of the Town of Monroe zoning local law.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved.
Ward Brower.
Ward Brower, private citizen. This, I presume, is to do with what we call
Non-conforming.
grandfather clause.
Yep.
Okay. And that grandfather clause and flaws has been around since 1954, in essence. Since I did a little research, looked up codes, it has basically never changed. The major flaw in that was that pre-existing properties which were deemed legal, and the zoning change which made them illegal, to make them non-conforming legal status, which is what I call grandfather. You had a little thing you had to do. You had to get before the building inspector before 6 months. Problem was, nobody notified anybody. 99.9% of the people were oblivious that the law changed, so they never filed, so they're in non-compliance. The only thing it was never a problem is because from 1954 on, up until relatively recent, all those building inspectors knew what the spirit of the law was. They never pushed it. That's the reason. But when you get someone who just goes by the reading of the letter of the law, that you get people who nabbed them. That's what happened here. But that clause should have been removed. If you wanted to put that function in there, where you had to sign up or apply for it within 6 months, then you should have gone to the added step, which we do on a public hearing. You send out a notice, a legal notice to everybody, so that everybody is notified. But when they didn't do that, that created a problem. So doing away with that is solve a lot of hardships. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Ward.
you.
Mike Goldstein.
Good evening, Mike Goldstein. I didn't get a chance to read. Has this grandfathering clause changed at all, any of the wording that you had in it since it's been out? Or is it the same wording?
No, I don't believe so.
No changes? And I am in favor of it, because we do need to protect everybody else because of the new zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all that signed up.
All to sign up. Anyone else? Okay, motion to keep open the public hearing for the proposed changes to Article 14 of the Town of Monroe zoning local law.
I'll make that motion
I'll second.
until September 27th,
September
7
23rd,
PM.
23rd.
Oh, 23rd.
7:05 PM.
Who seconded that, please? Who seconded it?
Rick did.
Councilman Cologne did. Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. We need a motion to open up the continuation of the public hearing for the formation of Town Water District to be known as Smith Farm Water District.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
John Deschner?
Wait, let Mr. Costa go first.
Well, we're just picking off basically from, picking up where we left off at the last meeting back in July. And, could you please talk into the mic? I'm sorry. My name is Ronald Kosser. I'm the attorney for BMG Monroe 1, the petitioner for the formation of the Smith Farm Water District. We're just picking up from where we left off back in the July meeting, I believe it was. This is the continuation of that public hearing. There was an open question that some of the board members posed as to whether or not there are any restrictions or limitations on the water consumption of the Smith Farm Water District in either the SECRA, the DEIS, or the finding statement. The answer to that is no. There was absolutely no limitation, and there was a specific reference in the findings to reliance on the water supply to be supplied, the water to be supplied by the village. Subsequent to, prior to this meeting, several weeks ago, my office met with the mayor and the village attorney, and we've actually worked out all the details in terms of the mechanics of the water supply of the meters, etc. So that the only remaining open issue is the actual formation, approval of the formation of the water district by this town board. And as far as water supply, because I know Councilman Cologne raised the issue, the issue of water supply or lack thereof is really governed by the New York State Village Law, which takes in effect in the event there's a water emergency, and that it's basically within the discretion of the village, and legally the village residents would have first dibs, and, you know, in terms of rationing, etc. So that really is a statutory control over the water consumption. Fortunately, the village is blessed with a very fine water supply. Hopefully that will never happen. But I think the village ordinance speaks for itself, and that's incorporated in the water supply agreement that we have with the village. So, I mean, with that, I would take any questions from the board. You know, we'll listen to any members of the public.
So my question is, first a statement. There's going to be, and this board has to approve it, a fee associated with each billing period, because the town has costs associated with that.
No, I understand.
Okay.
And that's the mechanics of it.
Right, yeah, that's the mechanics. The other thing is, and this maybe doesn't relate directly to it, but it's still out there. There were 2 homes that were initially built where the roof pitches were incorrect. And we were told there was going to be some restitution with respect to them. Either it was going to be they were going to change the roof pitches, or they were going to give a monetary amount to the town. I haven't heard anything since that happened.
Well,
So before, before anything happens on my end, I would like to have that resolved.
well, first of all, this is the first I'm hearing of that.
No, it isn't, because...
No, me.
No, you and I sat in a meeting at Town Hall about 8 months ago, and I brought that to your attention then.
Well, you have a better memory than I do and all.
I'm a little younger, that's why.
But the answer to that question is, if that was a promise that was made, I assume the house is built out.
The house is built, it was the first 2 homes,
So
I
you're not
believe.
gonna change, it's highly unlikely that you're gonna be able to change the roof pitch at this stage, I would assume. So, the logical
Doesn't mean we can't make you. right.
The logical alternative, what I'm getting at, is monetary. And I don't know,
You'd have to talk to your
yeah, I mean,
client, I get that.
that will be addressed. I mean, I really don't want that to hold up this, because this bears on the village as well. In terms, they're anxious to get the water district formed, or at least I know the mayor is.
And we're anxious to get our restitution for the,
restitution, well, they're.
whatever
anxious-
we want to call it. Fines, restitution.
Yeah, I don't know what that monetary.
How about
number
we
would
do
be.
this?
I have no idea.
How about we do this? How about you and Mr. Nugent speak, we come to an agreement on the restitution, and then at the meeting on September 23rd, we can approve the district.
What are you talking about in terms of, I mean, what's the scope of the restitution? I just want to be clear about that.
I think that's a conversation we
Yeah.
have as
In
a
private.
attorney-client between.
Wouldn't that be best, right?
Between you
attorney-client?
and
Okay, so I
Mr.
just,
Nugent, yeah.
whatever suits the town, as long as it's not over $100 or something.
Oh, wow.
I don't really know.
Go find
Guess
somewhere
what?
somewhere else.
All the houses, I presume, were okay.
As far as I know, yes. I have
I
to
don't know
double,
what
I have to
happened
double
here.
check with our building inspector, but as far as I know,
But he
yes.
did approve the grant the permit for the construction, I presume.
We granted it based on the conversation of being some restitution. Kind of called good faith.
Okay, I mean, we paid a lot to the village, to the town and the village. I want the public
know.
to be aware of that in terms
Well,
of
those-
green space. and-
I know, but there still has to be repercussions for not building what is supposed to be the code and what was specified in the plans, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot easier if the building inspector denied the grant of the building.
Well, no, here's the funny part. If, since you weren't around or you weren't aware of it, he actually did hold it up. And then when we spoke about it, and there was some restitution that you said, or your client said was going to be made, we let you keep building.
Okay. I have to assume that to the extent the offer of restitution was made, it came directly from the client, because I
Well,
may have discussed it with
I
you,
remember
but I
a
didn't-
conversation with
He
you.
remembers the conversation clearly.
Well, then I'll live up to whatever
I remember where you were sitting. You were sitting at the head of the conference table, and I was right here. Your engineers were across the way, and I believe Mr. Nugent was in there too.
Ron, it was a discussion in conjunction with the village, and the concern was that the town said we don't want a project that's gonna look different in the town than it does in the village, because the village raised the same issues with the pitch and everything, with respect to the homes, and that was the nature of the discussion, and the answer was, look, we'll either fix it, or, maybe we can make restitution. There might have even been a discussion of recreation or some purpose that it would be a donation to or something, but that was the nature
Well,
of
if
the
that's what it
conversation.
was, that's what it'll be. I'm not really, and what you suggested I called Mr. Nugent to discuss this.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then
Yeah.
we can probably take this up at the next meeting.
Which I'll do. I'll call you.
Work
Yeah.
towards an approval.
We'll make it $10 less than it would cost your client to fix the pitch on the roof. How's that?
That's a good deal.
Then maybe we'll fix the pitch. So, this matter is going to be put over until...
The 23rd.
Are you going to take comments from the public
23rd, except,
tonight?
yeah.
Well, we still will tonight, and I have, the order will be drafted, the order after the public hearing for the 23rd to approve the district, assuming we can resolve everything else.
Okay, and that's the only real issue, correct?
Yeah, it's the only issue I see.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the record, Mr. Cosser submitted the 2 Mylar maps we requested tonight, which are being turned over to the town clerk's office.
For filing, okay. Those are the ones for filing with the county?
That's correct.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll see you on the 23rd.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak?
John Deschner?
Johnny Debris. And I was out there today, cleaning up. I
Thank
just
you.
got a question on the water. Is there a plan where they estimate how much water they have in a reservoir and project so many developments down the line they're going to run out or anything like that? Of course, that would be the village, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, that was what I was gonna
Right.
say.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't know if they have that. All right, I'll go over and talk to
The mayor,
Neil.
Mayor
Mayor
Dwyer.
Dwyer.
Yeah, Neil Dwyer, yeah.
You want a cell number or, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll give it to you.
What do you mean cell number?
I'll give you a cell number.
Oh, cell number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that type of cell.
No, I know Neil.
Yeah.
Because I used to work in Home Depot. I used to help
Oh,
him out
yeah.
all the
Okay.
time. Yeah, when he was a contractor. The other thing is, this water goes down the sewer, right? And they must have a plan for another sewer, an expansion of the sewer district. They have to.
So, let me just say this, because Pete Toohey was supposed to be here this evening.
Who?
Pete Toohey, our legislator.
Legislator for the
yeah,
county.
yeah.
He's actually
County
the
legislator.
chairman of the Overlook Committee for the Sewer District.
Yeah.
He could not be here tonight because of Senator Larkin's wake. So
Yeah.
he's going to be speaking on the 23rd, and he can give you an update. And they have meetings twice a month, so,
Oh, you mean up there?
yeah, up at the county.
Because with all the building that's going on, I just can't imagine that we're not going to have that expanded. And
Couldn't agree with you more.
and you know what? Maybe you can talk to Woodbury, but don't give that land away where Napera was to a casino. You may need it for a new sewer district. That's all I have to say.
All right.
And
Thank
keep
you
up
very
the good
much.
work.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks.
Ward Brower?
Ward Brower, private citizen. I still have the question, was never answered last time. What's the maximum number of gallons projected to be used by this project? When you do a seeker, you have to know the impact of your action. And if you don't know the impact of your action, then it's no sense doing a seeker. No sense doing environmental planning. There are cities on this planet, one's in South Africa, where they ration water 2 hours a day. One in India where they do the same thing. We're a mud hole. See, water does run out. So you just can't treat it like, contrary to what the good attorney says, the water is infinite. And you have it on a contract, you can supply an infinite amount of water. That's not reality. In the field, what I've been around with real engineers, they call that wingtip engineering. You need to know what's the number of people, the maximum number of people, because they generate water demands and sewer consumption. That needs to be known before you enter into an agreement, because even though the village is a supplier, we are technically a supplier because our water district. So if the village comes to a point where they say, nope, can't give you any more water, Monroe, that means the onus is on us to find the water. Well, then we gotta look for a source, because our name is on that contract. You need to know, before you set a contract, what's the amount of water you're set up to supply. You need to know that number.
Hey, Ward, just looking at the plan here, they go by the 400 to 475 gallons per day times the number of units.
Okay.
And so they're estimating the water usage to be, if I'm reading this correctly,
point.
50,740 gallons
Now, is that
per day.
written, Mike, is that written like a finite maximum you can?
I mean, listen, does that mean we turn off the spigot after that? I mean, listen, that's really kind of something.
You talking about sewer?
No, we're
No,
talking about water now. This is a
Okay.
water
Water.
district. Sewer is another problem. First you get the water and then you convert it to sewer, what happens.
Yeah.
What goes in has to come out.
You got it. But my thing is, you need to have a handle on it. And unfortunately, Mike, that what you're referring to, that was back a long time ago when the market was not the market these were set, or presently buying. That market was set for the traditional family was 4.5 individuals. This market is not that. It's many times that. So you need to know before we commit ourselves to a water district, if we don't have an infinite amount of water to supply. We need to know what it is, the parameters. I never got an answer from the engineer. I'm glad Mike picked that out of there. But those
I mean,
numbers
if you
are,
want
So,
to, it's,
listen, the estimated gallons per day for the project is 68,790.
okay.
With
now-
additional 120,000 gallons to be reserved for emergencies.
Okay, so that should be like a maximum number we're committed to. And unless that's written into the contract, we're in big trouble. You need to have an end on this thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
where I was going to say, that's on page 3, 2, 3, and 4 of the, well, more just page 2 and 3 of the plan if you want to look at it.
I'm reading it from the actual
What was the
secret.
date in that? You have Mike, the date in that?
Date on this is, it was revised in June 2019.
Revised.
If you want to look at it afterwards.
You're reading the secret, Mike,
What's
right?
that?
Are you reading the secret?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so on page 23 is the water, on page 24 is the sewer, which is 86,000 gallons a day.
Yeah, this isn't the secret. This is the map plan and report from the engineers. So,
Anyone else?
That's
like
all
to
that's
speak?
signed up.
That's it? Okay, so I'd like to make I will make a motion to continue the public hearing for the formation of the town water district to be known as Smith Farm Water District. Do I have a second?
Second.
Date and time, please.
September 23rd,
05.
7:15, or we had 7:15, 1, 2, 3, 7:20. Do I have a second?
Second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
again, I
Okay, so moved. Okay. We need to, public hearing notice. Mary, did you want to read the public hearing notice for local law 6, which is the addition to Article 8 of Chapter 53 of the Town Code of Monroe, also known as the Cross Connection Control?
Sure. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Monroe, Orange County, New York, on September 4th, 2019, at 7:25, or as soon thereafter as may be heard at the Town of Monroe Senior Center, 101 Mine Road, Monroe, New York, 10950. The Town Board of the Town of Monroe is considering adoption of a local law introductory number 6 of 2019, proposed to add Article 13 to Chapter 53 of the Code of the Town of Monroe. The Town of Monroe will make every effort to assure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk. The proposed local law is available at the town clerk's office at 1465 Orange Turnpike, Monroe, New York, 10950, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 4 p.m., dated August 25th, 2019, by the order of Town of Monroe, Mary Ellen Beams, Town Clerk.
Thank you. Just to clarify, it's Article 8 to Chapter 53.
Yes, my mistake, that's Article 8.
Okay. So now we need a motion. Thank you, Mary. We need a motion to open up the public hearing for the proposed local law number 6, addition to Article 8 of Chapter 53 of the Code of the Town of Monroe, cross-connection control.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I,
Okay, so moved.
Ward Brower?
Ward Brower, private citizen. I signed up for this one because I have no idea what it is. I was away for a week, and I come to look at this. What is this thing? Someone could kindly explain to me what it is. Thank you.
I'll read it from you. It's got to do with pollutants and backflow. You want to read it, Mary?
It's actually easier just to explain it. This is something the Board of Health is looking for because they don't want any outside contaminants getting into the public water system. There's a lot of different various levels, everything from agricultural to homeowner. So that's just it in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
That's all that's signed up.
Okay. So,
Okay, Supervisor Cologne, we're still waiting for the County Board of Health to make some comments.
Pardon. You said
I
Cologne.
did it again. Oh, sorry. Supervisor Cardone.
I got scared for a second.
you got to say anything. He just... So,
I'll leave. I'll stay out of that comment.
Yeah, so I think we still need some more comments, as I said, from the county and possibly again from the town engineer based on what the county says.
okay. So, I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing for the proposed local law number 6 open, which is the addition to Article 8 of Chapter 53 of the Code of the Town of Monroe, cross-connection control.
Date and time.
Hold your horses there, come on.
Just like a broken record over here.
Yeah, I
Date
know.
and time?
September 23rd at 7:25.
Wasn't me.
Call the
Second.
Second by Councilman Scancarello. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I,
Okay. Next up, community and announcements. We have with us this evening a young man who I think is one of the finer young men in our community. I have met with him on multiple occasions, as well as his wonderful mom. He's spot on with everything he's been doing, and he has just received approval locally, right?
Yeah, from my troop.
From his troop to do an Eagle Scout project at our new town hall, which will include 3 flagpoles, which will be lit. But I'll call you up, AJ, and you could give your presentation. Just state your name and where you live. And don't be nervous.
Don't worry, everybody's watching, so no pressure.
So my name is Anthony Roberts. I live in the town of Monroe on Lakes Road. I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 440, and for the past few months I've been working with Mr. Cardone on my proposal for putting in these 3 flagpoles at your new town hall. So before I get into the project, I actually have some copies of the sketch I made in
Sure.
my book, so if you could pass those around for me.
Sure. Start down that end. Start there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Casa.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, see that now.
Okay, so for this project, there's going to be 3 flagpoles. In the center will be a 25-foot flagpole with the American flag, and on the sides will be 2 20-foot poles with the New York State flag and the POW MIA flag. Around the poles is going to be a 2-foot-high stone wall. Inside will be mulch, plantings, and a plaque. The stone and the mulch will both match as best I can. The stone that's on this bottom level of the building, like on the bottom of the building, of the walls, and the mulch will match everything around the building. I'm going to be fundraising the majority of this project. I'm also going to be seeking donations and discounts from local vendors for all the materials I'm going to need. And I just wanted to thank you all for your time, and Mr. Cardone especially for your ongoing help throughout this entire process. I'm looking forward to contributing as much as I can to the beauty of the new town hall. Do you guys have any questions for me on this project?
How much money are you looking to raise?
I'm looking to raise So the project's going to cost around $3,800. I'm looking to raise around $4,000 in case any extra expenses.
Hey, what are the height of the flagpoles?
The middle flagpole will be 25 with the American flag, and on the sides with the POW MIA and New York flag are going to be 20 feet.
Great.
Did you want to explain about your first fundraiser that we talked about doing at Town Hall?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking to do a pancake breakfast at the town hall sometime in September. I'm going before the Hudson Valley Council on Wednesday, September 11th, to hopefully get this project approved. Then I can start fundraising soon after that. So I'll be hopefully doing a fundraiser probably the last weekend in September.
Okay. Reach out to me. I'd love to help you
Okay.
with the
Thank you.
fundraising as much as I can.
I'll forward his number to you.
Okay.
All right?
Any other questions?
That's an amazing project.
Now, the
That's
other
great.
thing is that our Highway Superintendent, John Cherney, and his men have volunteered to help him out with some of the construction aspects of it. Some digging, there's got to be a trench dig dug for an electric line. So we're moving forward pretty good with it. Now, I spoke with your assistant troop,
Mr. Manson?
Mr. Manson.
Yeah.
And when I spoke with the engineers and recently, they thought it would be best if we did this in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I know we had talked somewhat to maybe getting it in the fall, but they were concerned about it being damaged with all the construction that's going on if it
Okay.
was completed. So I just wanted to make sure that it's before your 18th birthday.
Yeah, my birthday's in June. So
Okay.
I'll be good.
So it doesn't hold you up from attaining.
No, it shouldn't. I mean, if it doesn't get completed fast enough, it might, but I don't think it should.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And just so you know, you're doing a pancake breakfast. Supervisor's a hell of a pancake maker. He does a great
Yeah.
job.
You
Put that hat on him.
You know.
Eater too.
Yeah. he's-
All right, anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
It's
Appreciate all
great.
you
Thank
do.
you.
Awesome job.
Yeah. Great. Okay, next item up is the audit of claims from the general fund. We have an abstract, which is abstract number 19-013, which totals $580,042.76. So we need a motion. We do have 3 signatures on the vouchers.
I'll make that motion.
Cologne, second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I.
Okay, so moved. The next abstract is the escrow fund, which you were handed the abstract tonight, but it also has copies of it. That abstract number is 090419-1. And that's for budgetary transfers. The first set of budgetary transfers are from the assessor's office. The next there was another one from the assessor's office. There were 3 from zoning and 1 from Dial-A-Bus. So we need a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
So the assessor's amount was $2,424.19 plus $328.02. The zoning amount was $1,200, and the Dial-A-Bus operations were $1,200 as well.
Do we get a second on
Yeah.
that? I'll second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I.
Okay. Next up is the acceptance of the August 5th, 2019 minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Cologne, second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I.
Okay. Okay, tonight we have a presentation from Michelle at M&R Energy. How are you?
Aye.
We're doing well. Thank you for coming this evening.
Oh, absolutely, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm going to give you each a copy of this, so you have a little
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do share.
Oh, it's fine. I think I honestly have just enough to go.
This is what we've been waiting for.
So just to give everyone a brief background, I've met multiple times with Michelle, and I'm hesitant because your partner in crime is Melissa, but,
Yes.
okay. So, and we talked about the possible savings with our electric and energy supply rates. So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to you.
So, thank you again for having me. My
Put that
name is...
microphone down,
Oh,
put you a little bit.
sorry.
Talk right.
Okay. My name is Michelle, and I'm from M&R Energy Resources Corporation. And I'm here tonight to request that the town of Monroe authorize M&R Energy to run the natural gas and electric bid for the town. The town would piggyback on Orange County's already awarded bid. It was awarded to M&R Energy, and you would piggyback on that bid. In conjunction with all of this, we've just been able to retrieve some of the information about the town of Monroe's accounts. And if you see the electric account status for the town of Monroe, it's doesn't appear to have pulled together. And if you pull all your volume together and run a bid, a fair bid under the county already approved bid, then you will benefit from the volume. So right now you have 535,000 kilowatt hours at 6.2 cents. You have 80,000 at 6.85. You have 15,000 at almost 14 cents, and you have 870,000 at 7.5 cents, 7.49. And the second page is the I broke it out by supplier and what each volume is. And this example of a proposed rate is based off of numbers that I ran today. I can't guarantee that. It's a commodity and the market changes constantly. But you have a lot of savings to be realized. And it's the biggest with the direct energy at that 7.5 cents, using almost 900,000 kilowatt hours. You know, just by cutting it down, even a penny would give you several $1,000s in savings. So I hope that this is you're able to kind of understand how this is broken up. But I'd be happy to answer any questions. And
I just want to clarify it. So,
Sure.
so the 4 different energy suppliers are based on MUDNA, 2 from the Park Commission, and then all the town
right,
hall
exactly.
items.
So the town has a lot. You know, you have the town of Monroe accounts, then you have the town of Monroe, MUDNA, and Basin, and then you have Park and Recreation. Unfortunately, in the past, and you would know better than I would know, is these things seem to be broken out into all these different situations, and that's not really financially, the prudent, the best way to get the best rate. So if you pull all this together and you run a bid and have everything lined up, right now, if you see, like you have a December start for this major energy, you have, November, you have things expiring all at different times, and you need to have a start date and an end date for everything, all the volume, and that's where M&R Energy Resources comes in. So I don't know if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer, but you have a lot of different scenarios. And
So if everyone just wants to make note, so the direct energy supply is from MUDNA. The major energy is for the park. Hudson Energy is for the park. and,
Major.
Top.
Major energy is for the town, sorry.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
Is that-
Town of Monroe is with Major at this,
Bless you.
6.2. The Town of Monroe Joint and Park is the accounts that are with Hudson Energy. Major Energy has a couple of those as well, and then Direct Energy has the Moodna Basin. So
Okay.
you're,
So to keep this simple, I mean, I would just like to make a motion to authorize Direct Energy to be our,
M&R Energy.
I'm sorry, M&R
It
Energy.
is confusing.
M&R Energy to be our provider for bidding on our electric energy costs.
I'll second that.
Can we have discussion?
Yeah, discussion, yeah.
Oh, sure, I'd be happy.
When you opened up, Michelle, you said for natural gas and electric.
Yes, this is just.
This is just, we're not addressing natural gas at all.
No, but we will. I mean, it's just that this was kind of, I found out some of the information today as far as the start dates. You have accounts in the same scenario as the electric for natural gas. You have some at 51.9 for with Direct Energy. You have some at 40, I think 47.9 with Agera Energy. So it's pretty much the same scenario.
Okay,
All
but
in
right now
all-
we're just addressing the electric.
Right. Well,
Okay.
the resolution would be to bid them both out. So
So
it would be, yeah.
I'll amend the resolution to include electric and gas. And in addition, I will say, I have spoken with at least 5 or 6 other leaders, Mayor Welly, Mayor Dwyer, Supervisor Bloomfield and Goshen. Trying to think, you have Montgomery too, I think.
Yeah, we actually service
Supervisor.
almost all the municipalities with the exception of 2 in Orange County and also quite a few in Rockland County. And that's why it is bid out and it's done in the most absolute fair way to the taxpayers. I mean, I live here, I live in Orange County. I'm a resident of the village of Cornwall for 30 years. I spend a lot of time in Monroe. I have the same interests at heart as any taxpayer. I always tell the story that I wasn't going to go into the village of Cornwall because I lived there, and I was like, I didn't want to mix business with where I lived. And my 85-year-old mother called me up and said that they were working with an energy consultant, and I said, well, now it's getting personal. I don't want to pay, and I know that the county does their due diligence in all of this and runs these bids very fair, and you'll be in good hands.
That 5.6 cents per kilowatt hour that is used as like a baseline in here. Assuming that was the rate that we locked in at, and how long is that good for the term of the contract, or how does that work?
It's going to be run that you have a choice once this is all, once the resolution is passed. There will be, typically we run 12, 24, 36, and sweet spots. Like sometimes the market, you'll see a dip down at 18 months, or, it varies, but you'll see a point where that maybe, 20 months is better than 1 year or 2 years, and then we would recommend doing that. It really depends on where the numbers come in and what you're comfortable doing. You make the final decision of the rate and the term. It's completely up to you. It's, but we pull that all together and just present it to you, and then at that point, the board would have to decide. The 5.6 was based on a little over a year rate as of today, but again, I didn't have the start dates until sometime today. So the good thing is that if you look at your usage, I was looking at it this evening, December 19 and October 19, which of course is very close to us, you have a big bulk of this that can be locked in, and that's what you really want to, you want to definitely take advantage of that. The 80,000 that's with Hudson Energy, unfortunately, that's locked in. That has to stay out there until that matures, because we would never recommend breaking a contract, because then they would come after the town of Monroe for
Right.
penalties, and you don't want to deal with that. So it's best to
Right.
just let it mature and then pull it all together at the same time.
Now, what if, now, so we have a solar farm that we're hoping eventually someday will get
I know
online.
about the,
So that would, I guess, reduce the amount of kilowatt hours
Right.
that the town uses. Would that affect the rate at all?
No, I mean, you
So
know,
a reduction in kilowatt hours wouldn't
no,
have
you're
a-
still going to be, using that. I think that that's more of like a credit on your O&R bill. So you're still going to be utilizing a certain amount of power, and then it'll be a credit. And, we can always factor that in. I think from speaking with the supervisor that it's going to be a little bit of time before that's on anyway. Maybe are we looking at least a year? So, it certainly makes sense to do something now. Just at a glance, it's almost $20,000 in savings. So, why not?
Is that yearly or monthly?
That's an annual.
Yeah, an annual, okay.
An annual savings. As of, again, from what the information that I have, the reason why I was going to put this all together in natural gas format, but it's pretty much exactly the same. You have all these different suppliers and different start dates, so it's you want, at some point you really want to pull this all together and take advantage of all your usage.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time again. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
We have a motion before us. I'd like to call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again,
So moved.
Okay.
Good to
Thank
go.
you.
Start bidding.
you.
Yes, exactly.
Bid.
Yeah, the
Thank
sooner
you.
the better. You don't want to wait till the winter.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Michelle.
have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. So items 6.2 and 6.3, I would like to discuss an executive session. Electronic, 6.4 is the electronic recycling and shredding event. We need a motion to approve another recycling day, which would be on November 2nd?
Yes, November
Yep,
2nd.
November 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It will be at the Highway Garage. We will have shredding, and there's a cost for that, which is $600, and we will have electronic recycling, which we have two options. The first option is to pay Advanced Recycling $1,950. The second option is, and they will handle everything. The second option is that we pay Advanced Recycling $1,000. They provide us with boxes, which they will drop off on November 1st, and they will come collect them on November 4th. And we will have two highway workers work the 9 to 12 shift, which would be approximately a $500 savings, I believe.
That's just them being there. Then there's
Yeah.
the stacking of the boxes and waiting, so it'll be actually a little bit more than 5. It'll come out to almost the same thing, not quite, probably 700, 800, is what I'm thinking, right?
Well, how do you think
Because,
that?
because you're gonna have the two highway people there while everybody brings their stuff in. And then they're gonna make the pickup when?
They're gonna be stacking and organizing.
dropping off the boxes.
Yeah, while they're there.
While they're there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's gonna be clear. All right, so then
Yeah.
that's
So even if
fine.
it's a $400 savings, it's a $400 savings.
All right.
Tony, that's the same company we used last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure they follow their contract and come pick up the boxes when they're supposed to.
Yeah, I
because-
know. We spoke to them about it.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Just please, Madam Clerk, down at the end there, could you just, Valerie, please remind Mary Ellen to contact Advance to make sure they pick them up on the 4th?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so what would be the pleasure of the board?
I think having the highway personnel handle it.
I agree.
Okay,
All right, save it a couple of bucks.
so who,
Save some money.
So,
Make the proposal for
$1,000.
For the $1,000?
Plus the cost of our highway.
with the assistance by
Salaries.
highway?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the $600 for confidential shredding.
All right, I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Okay, November 2nd, 9 to 12. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McKenna,
Okay, so moved. Next is the Senior Center Flu Clinic. Our Council, Brian Nugent has, I believe, reviewed the agreement, and I would assume that everything was in order. I believe you spoke to Anne Marie Morris, our Senior Center Director.
Yes, I did, and I did review it.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion that the Town Board of the Town of Monroe approve the flu clinic at the Monroe Senior Center on Thursday, September 26th, 2019, during the hours of 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The pharmacist from Stop and Shop will be providing the service. Senior citizens insurance card will be charged for the immunization. And this is the same that has been going on for the past 6 years.
I'll make that motion.
I will
second.
I'll tie there.
Get the tiebreaker.
Seconded by Councilwoman Bingham. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McKenna,
Okay. Item 6.6 is to approve the request from Judge Audra Schwartz to attend the 2019 New York State Magistrates Association Annual Conference from September 15th through September 17th, 2019 at the Crown Plaza in Lake Placid, New York. Members in good standing, which we are, will be reimbursed by the state through the Unified Court System for $132 in lodging and $66 for meals and mileage at the rate of 58 cents per mile. So,
I'll make that motion.
Second by Cologne.
Discussion?
yeah,
For discussion.
the total cost would be $430.50. So I think we should put $450 on there, just to have a little overage. We have a detailed travel estimate in there, and there is money in the budget for the courts, which is line item A000-1110-4189-00. So, any other discussion?
Audra's not going to use the town car, she's going to use her own car.
Yes, because
Yes.
we're getting reimbursed.
First, by the,
yeah.
yeah. Just want everybody to understand that out in the public.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McKenna,
Okay, so moved. Item 6.7 we did earlier. 6.8, there's a statement there, which is the revenue and expenditures through July 31st. You have there. Quick overview, we're about a little over 5% under spending this year. We're at 53.64% currently, and if you factor it out through the end of July, it's I think 58.8 or so, if you went month by month on a pro rata share.
It's good news.
Yep. Item 6.9 is the repayment to Hometown Firefighters Association. They actually laid out money, $900, to cover the costs for the program. So we have to, somebody's got to make a motion to approve the release to repay Hometown Firefighter Services for $900 to cover the June payments. I'll make that motion. Do we have a
Second.
Second.
Second, Sal.
Second. Any other discussion?
What account is this coming from?
It is coming from 01024-01920, which is the Lakeside Fire Department account. Town of Monroe's Lakeside Fire Department account. Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
So moved. Okay, we have to approve the IMA for snow and ice control on the county roads for the 2019-2020 season. It's 5.77 road miles, which would equate to, because there's different rates for the village and the town, it equates to us receiving $27,696. It's actually the exact same rate as last year.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay, sorry, I skipped over, I skipped over 6.10.
Yes.
We need someone to make a motion to approve the executing of the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Monroe and Teamsters Local 445 for Dial-A-Bus. This agreement was from January 1, 2018 to December 31st, 2019, so it is expiring. There were some issues with the business agent. Unfortunately, his wife had passed away, so we kind of, couldn't get much out of them, but we finally got it squared away. And then there was another mistake that was noticed by Mr. Nugent, which was in regard to a specific date. So we need a motion for the supervisor to sign that.
I'll make that motion.
Second by Cologne.
Second by Cologne. Any discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. So moved. Councilman Cologne, you want to go over the 6.12, the Mudna IMA?
Stand by. Hold on, I'm getting it.
No problem.
Ah, here it is, okay. All the red lines.
Aye.
So essentially, we have a Mudna IMA, which is between the Village of Chester, Town of Chester, and the Town of Monroe.
Hold on.
And it's an updated version
Of the agreement.
of the agreement that was back from the 80s and 90s.
Joint Mudna, okay. This restated agreement is made effective as of today's date, September 4?
Yeah, I mean, you
September
don't
4,
necessarily
2000?
have to read all those, I just wanted you to give an overview of it.
Oh, okay. Basically, we have an agreement between the town of Monroe, the Village of Chester, Town of Chester, with the Mudna Sewer Agreement. And this is an updated agreement. There's been a few, some updating in how it's handled. Basically, everything is pretty much stabilized. It's just been tweaked a bit as far as the commission and the commissioners. The town supervisor of Monroe, you're still the designated
Budget officer.
budget officer.
Yeah.
And it switches between the commissioner every other year. And the appointments are made by the town board. Salaries of the commissioners are going to be voted on by town boards.
Right, there's a Schedule A.
There's a schedule,
Involved in it.
and there's a schedule this year.
Well, it
But
goes to
basically-
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, it's an agreement that says who's going to handle what part of the sewer aspect as far as equipment, how the billing is run. The town of Monroe is responsible for the lines and pump stations that are within the town as Chester, as well as the village of Chester. So it pretty much runs through that. We have a copy at the town hall?
Well, we will once it's approved.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on it so far?
I just want to make one other comment. Henry Christensen, the attorney for Moodna, said that all IMAs need to be established every 5 years, so that's one of the reasons why it's being done now.
Yeah. Good point. That's true. So that's basically about it. It still continues to serve part of our constituency. So basically, this is just a refresh. It basically stays all the same. So, and
Okay.
as I said, Town of Monroe, Town of Chester, Village of Chester. Any other questions by the board?
Nope. Do we have a motion to approve the Moodna intermunicipal agreement?
I don't think I can make that, can
I'll make that motion.
I? I can
No.
second.
I'll second it.
No,
You can make
I
it.
better be.
You'll second, Councilman McGinn?
Again.
Okay. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Are we
You're-
abstaining?
I have to
Yeah.
abstain.
We're abstaining, yeah. I'm abstaining.
Abstain, Cologne abstain.
No, you don't have to abstain, because you're not, remember we discussed this at the meeting? You don't have to abstain, because
Oh, because it's going to be, if there's a,
because if we, all three of us abstained, we couldn't vote on it. And the reasoning behind it was that
That's
you're
all
not
right.
guaranteed to be the commissioner next year.
Okay.
they're going to fire me next year, folks, that's okay.
So I want to change my vote to aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Begin, aye.
You mean I just voted on my own termination?
So, yeah, so moved. Thank you, Councilman Cologne, or Supervisor Cologne.
Don't be scared.
Councilwoman Bingham.
Chairman.
Don't be scared.
Chairman.
Chairperson.
Yeah. All right. We have a bid for the modifications to Town Hall. Council, would you like to take that up?
I'm going to tell you what they're going to do, or you want to talk about it? No, so we've reviewed the bid documents. We made recommended changes. These were prepared by the town engineer concerning the bid for modifications to the town hall building. They've adopted our changes and recommendations, so we believe the bid is informed to be issued.
Okay. So we just have to pass a resolution authorizing the bid for the modification to Town Hall be approved.
Yeah, and I would, unless you have specific dates, we can say with the town clerk to set, the return date for the.
Return date is in the bid, it's October
It is in,
2nd
okay.
at 2 p.m.
And just authorize the issuance in accordance with the bid documents.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we authorize the issuance of the bid documents for Town Hall.
I'll second. Cologne is second.
Cologne second. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Begin, aye.
Okay, so moved. Next item, actually, Legislator Tui was going to speak about this, but I'll bring it up quickly. So we need a resolution to authorize the supervisor to sign the 2019 CDBG municipal agreements for funding awarded to the town of Monroe. That funding was increased. We got $62,500 for the ADA door installation, and we also got $62,500 for the replacement of the senior center HVAC units and the senior center doors, or the outside doors, which will be automatic.
Can this be one resolution, or do we have to break it out?
Maybe best, since
we
it's
break
two
it out
separate
to
ones,
two?
have to be broken out to two, I believe. Right? We have to make two resolutions, right? Because it's two separate awards we're getting.
You can, unless there's somebody that thinks they're going to vote differently on one or the other, you could do
Put 'em
one
on.
resolution approving both.
Put them both on one?
But if the
So
board wants to
here's-
split
here's-
it, you can do that.
Here's what I'll do. I'll amend the resolution to read, authorizing the supervisor to sign the 2019 CDBG municipal agreements for $125,000 of funding awarded to the town of Monroe, And the breakdown of that is senior center ADA door installation, $62,500, and senior center HVAC replacement, $62,500.
I will second that.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay,
And thank you, Mr. Toohey.
all right.
Yes.
Councilman McGinn, would you like to discuss item 6.15,
Sure.
the secret agreement? Thank
All right,
you.
we have an agreement that was submitted to us, or a contract submitted to us by PS&S, who is the engineering firm that we are using in conjunction with our town planner to draft the CCR, the Cluster Conservation Residential Law that we have been working through. The work that PS&S will be providing will be primarily utilities and also conceptual grading and stormwater basin sizing. So they'll be working on that. They'll also be getting input from our own town engineer from existing plans. They have a breakdown in their fees with anticipated cost. It adds up to a little bit under $30,000, so I would recommend that we approve the contract not to exceed $30,000 without further board approval. Further board action.
I have a question.
We have to have a second first,
Oh, second for discussion.
okay?
This is going to be spread out over a couple of months. It's not all going to be done this year, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, the portion of it that's used, because some of this is being used towards, seeker, the FEIS and all that. So those things, those parts of the work that they'll be doing obviously will be billed in accordance with that, that time schedule that we're looking to get seeker done by, which would be October or November we're looking at. So yes, it's not a lump sum, and it is broken down by the various hourly rates and reimbursable expenses and meetings and the FSCIS and the DSCIS.
So it would most likely come out of the contingency account, which is B00019900000-00, which presently has a balance of $18,000. The balance of what would be paid would be budgeted for next year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just know contingency is starting to run a little low. It's my concern.
Well, there's really been nothing taken out of that account, that budget account.
Okay. But with the A fund, we've been taking stuff out of,
The
but
A
this is
fund,
B
yeah.
fund,
The A
yeah.
fund's down to the low 20s, I think, so. Okay.
So I'll make the motion that we authorize the supervisor to sign the contract after review. I assume the town attorney has reviewed it already and approves of it in the form that it was submitted.
You can make it subject to.
Subject to the review and approval of the town attorney.
I will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. All right, next item is the engineering. We need to approve the agreement, the engineering services agreement for the CDBG projects. I'm sorry, I was supposed to combine those. For the HVAC replacement, the automatic doors at the senior center, provided the agreement is in form applicable to the to our attorney.
I'll second that.
And now, I know, Mr. Nugent, you've had discussions with Mr. Shute from MH&E, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're confident with respect to the terms of the agreement?
I would make it subject to, as your motion suggested, 'cause I'm not able to pull them up right now. I want to make sure
Okay.
I look at these.
Okay. So subject to review. We have a second, so...
I'll second that.
Did you
I
second?
did already.
Oh, Mary
Mary
seconded
seconded
it,
already.
yeah.
Sorry, Mayor.
So, call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye?
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Begin I.
Okay, so moved. Item 6.17, Councilwoman Bingham.
Right, we have an application for Water District 12 for a WIA grant. We applied last year, and we wanted to keep it active. We wanted to keep it open. So the two motions are to show that we are still interested in keeping it open and how we're going to finance it. So I guess we'll make two resolutions. One is the resolution authorizing plan of finance with respect to Water Infrastructure Improvement Grant, WIA, for Water District 12. Do you want me to read the whole thing, or?
After, we just do the be it resolved.
Yeah,
Now, okay.
Be resolved.
Now therefore be resolved that Section 1, the above whereas clauses are hereby incorporated by reference as though set forth in full herein. Section 2, the town board hereby approve the plan of finance for the project as set forth in the completed WIA application grant that has been authorized to be executed by the town supervisor. Section 3, the town clerk and any other official employees are authorized to take any and all necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 4, this resolution shall be effective immediately. And then we need a vote.
Okay. I'll second that.
Call the question.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye?
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McKidd, aye.
So moved.
Okay, then the second resolution is the resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute the grant application. Again, this is for Water District 12. Now therefore be it resolved that Section 1, the above whereas clauses are hereby incorporated by reference as though set forth in full herein. Section 2, the town supervisor is hereby authorized to complete and submit the WIA application for the project to the New York State Department of Health in a form approved by the town engineer. Section 3, the town clerk and any other official employees are authorized to take any and all necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 4, this resolution shall be effective immediately. The question of adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Cologne. Any discussion? Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye?
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McKidd, aye.
Okay, so moved. Next item on the agenda is the proposal for ductless air conditioning in the new IT closet at Town Hall located on the main floor. We received two bids. One from C.R. Wolf for $10,626. The other from 914 Heating and Cooling for $8,500. What this includes is they will furnish and install one complete system of AC, only ductless, wall-mount Mitsubishi units with the ability to run at low ambient. The small IT room with one condenser to one head indoor wall unit, and this condenser will be set on the roof. Both these bids did not include electric, so that's the only additional cost that I see, unless there is flashing needed, which I believe there will be. That would be minimal. So, I mean, if someone would like to make a motion to...
I'd like to make a motion that we, based on based on the strictly on cost, and I believe 914 actually came out and did a survey of the space, whereas the other bidder just submitted it.
Yeah, based on the needs and over the phone.
Okay.
It was basically the same units.
All right, well, listen, you gotta go, you know, it's pretty much the same work. They're saying they're gonna provide the same service, same equipment. I would definitely go with the cheaper price.
Okay. And 914 has done work for us in the past.
Yes, they have.
Good.
Movie theater and I think they did Trooper Barracks, so I would, I'll make the motion that we go with 914.
I'll second that, Mike.
Seconded by Councilman Scancarello. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cordon, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I,
Okay. Performance bond with the town of Monroe for the relocation of the septic. Once the septic was moved, the bond would be returned. During the closing, there was an agreement made between Dr. Greenfeld and the Billies that he would get the $5,000 performance bond returned to him from the town of Monroe. Dr. Greenfield came into the office, had requested it. Noreen and I suggested we get some paperwork verifying the fact that that was the case, that the Billies had indeed turned it over, turned the money over to him once everything was completed. So he's asking for it back. Everything's taken care of, so we just need approval to return their monies.
All right, I'll make that. I'll second. Cologne is second.
Hold on a second. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cordon, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
again, I,
Okay.
Professional Square.
So before we go on to the Professional Square Planning Board project, because I can't find it here. I think that was also a return of
Performance bond?
performance bond. Yeah, okay, so the final billing for Professional Square.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's just a... Okay, so everything was taken care of. Essentially what this is the termination of the Spades general permit. Now, council, I didn't discuss this with you, but I'm assuming this is basically just a simple resolution.
Yeah, it looks like there's two items. One is, and you can handle them separately, one is the signing of the notice of termination for the stormwater discharge. The second is the release of the performance bond. So if you want, you can authorize, the board can authorize you to carry out those two items, and just subject to review by town council.
$5,000.
I'll make the motion.
I would just separate them too. So we'll do one. The first motion will be to authorize the supervisor to sign the notice of termination.
All right, I'll make a motion that authorizing the supervisor to sign the notice of termination for the Speddy's.
I'll second that.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cordon, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I.
Okay.
And the second will be authorizing the supervisor to return the performance bond upon review with the town attorney to the developer.
$5,000 bond.
I don't have the amount on it, but whatever that, I'm looking through
I
here.
think it's a $5,000 bond. No, that's the,
Yeah, it's the other.
That's
the other
Billy.
that's the billing one.
Like I said, upon, review and approval of the town attorney.
Yeah, that's the billing.
Yeah, it indicates $768,000. I don't know if that's still what's being held, but
Oh, wait, performance bond. Oh, that's good.
That's the amount. Maybe we could hold on to it a little bit longer. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's confusing because of the emails that are going back and forth.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at that from the town engineer also.
It's not giving
All right.
me, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if that performance bond is in totality still.
All right, well, like you said, I'll make that motion pending the approval of the town attorney to return the performance bond.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Scancarello. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. I have two items before we move on to old business that we need to bring, I need to bring up from the floor. The first is a resolution authorizing me to sign the Justice Court matter between the people of the state of New York against Mark Antonick. It's a stipulation which basically allows us to remove debris which is on his property on the Lakes Road, and we will be reimbursed for those costs. It specifies in there that we have to bill him within 45 days, and we would have to be reimbursed, I think 35 days after that, so.
And Supervisor, it also authorizes the town to collect that as a lien on the property if it's not paid, which is important part of the stipulation. And it does provide the owner can clean up as of, I think today was the date. He could do it himself.
Okay. So can we have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Second by Cologne.
Second by Cologne. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. All right, and the other one, I don't know why I keep losing this one, Valerie.
11.2.
I got it. What?
Which one?
11.2.
11.2, right. Okay. No, that's that one that we just signed.
Right. 11-1, Sam Grant. You want mine?
11-1, here you go.
So, be resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe made the following resolution. The town of Monroe is completing the State and Municipal Facilities Capital Program, SAM preliminary application for a grant in the amount of $175,000. These funds are costs associated with the road paving, Jean Drive to Cedar Cliff Road, and the cost of an excavator. Should the project amount exceed $175,000, the town agrees to provide the balance of the funds from a line item in the 2020 town budget. So I will make that motion.
Second.
Second.
For
by-
discussion?
Yep.
Hey, John, do you anticipate that it would exceed the 175?
Well, I'm thinking the excavator's gonna be right around the 110 to 120 mark, and, let's see, from Cedar Cliff to Jean Drive would be 2,400 feet, about 30.
I think your estimate was 63,000 for that.
Yeah, at $71 a ton right now, we're looking at about 69.5. All right, and to mill 2 inches down would be another 13. So we're gonna be right in that ballpark.
Okay.
You know, it's gonna be close.
This is,
We're not going to be...
just so you know, this is a grant that was given to us by Senator Skoufis.
Right,
Right,
I wanted to give a shout out for that and say thank you to Senator Skoufis for
Yes.
supporting us in getting this grant
Absolutely.
money.
Thank you.
So thank you,
Yeah.
Senator Skoufis.
Very, very grateful for that. Thank you. All right, yeah, I just wanted to...
It's gonna be close.
See if
It'll
it's
be
going to
right
be
there.
another $200,000 more or whatever.
No, exactly. We'll be close, and then we'll have CHIPS monies as well. Coming in at the same time, so we'll be okay.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay, just another shout out. I just want to thank John and Mary for attending the meeting with Senator Skoufis, where we asked for the funds.
All right,
So,
thank you.
okay. Did I call the question?
No.
No, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. Next item for discussion is the Old Country Road temporary water line agreement. Council, where are we? I know there's been some delivery of some supplies and items for the temporary water line.
Yeah, we provided our recommended changes on the agreement, which, as far as I'm told, were accepted. The village was looking for some sort of side letter, if the town would agree to look favorably on the formation of the water district. I advised council that we could not do that as we first needed the maps, plans, and reports to be filed, and we had to go through certain statutory criteria to make a determination as to whether the district was in the public interest, so that the best we can do is agree that, you know, when the maps, plans, and reports are filed, we would go forward with the water district formation process. So that was the last discussion. I spoke to Mr. Sturthouse yesterday, attorney for the village. I don't know if we're waiting on a signature. I haven't had any discussion specifically about, you know, if they're ready to sign this or go forward. I can follow up with either him or Howard Trotter if you would like.
Okay. If there's anyone from Old Country Road that would like to speak, you know, more than happy to have you come up to the mic. I will tell you this, that the discussions I've had with Mr. Nugent are ones that will protect you in some other aspects of the project, and I don't want to get into the details now, but I promise you that we are doing everything we can to make sure that the costs associated with this are extremely minimized for the residents on that road, because that was not as a result of anything any of the residents did.
We, if I may speak on that, or should we wait for the, I'll wait. Mr. Beckham? We have two of the residents here.
You
can
guys
come
get in the
up.
boxing match.
Yeah.
I know. I mean,
Flip
I know
a
it's
coin,
a father-son.
flip a
I know it's a father-son thing. So.
Yeah, come up together
No.
if you want.
Don't worry about it.
Together,
Come on
come
up.
on.
Don't be shy.
First of all, thank you so much for the whole town of Monroe, everyone. I appreciate the work, the help for the whole time, and also the supervisor. So number one, this Friday, I went home in the middle of the day. Just happened this Friday. I washed my hands, and the water was smelling. And it was very dirty. I contacted Tomm Enterprise, the contractor for the village, to notify the story. And I got a call back from, I don't know who, that this is legal water. How do you care? It's legal water, and this is it's drinkable water. And the color is just a lot of item, just the extra bonus. It takes a lot of time to convince them that the water looks like, I sent a picture for the health department.
It
Look like sewage.
Muddy water. Yeah, muddy water.
It takes time to have the contractor to come down to prove that, till whatever, they have the process to prove that this is officially dairy. And till they drain it, we was Friday with the kids home a few hours.
Into the microphone, please.
We was a few hours without water.
Thank you.
Till we got that night and Saturday. After, yeah, and we have done a delivery. So
Did you have the tanker truck, or was that?
Yeah.
That was the tanker truck, yeah.
Oh, that was from the tanker truck?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's put it this way, Mike. It looked like your great-grandmother's Irish gravy. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
Wow. It tasted better.
Ouch.
Wow.
Again, this reminds us about the situation this winter, about having about together almost 5 weeks together. With this in the winter, this heavy.
The pipes froze, so we didn't have water for a while. We went
So-
to the neighbors who knew the bathrooms and taking showers and like the 4 little kids at home, which doesn't make sense.
I saw, Mr. Becker, you showed me a picture that you had taken of the water, and I was shocked. And that came from a tanker. That was shocking, from a tanker. So I don't know where they got this water from. I mean, it looked like it actually was from a sewer drain or something. It was that dark. It was bad. So I don't even know why they didn't come immediately to check that out.
Again, this tanker is sitting over a year, and this was only a temporary solution for 2 weeks, sitting the tanker on this property. And they tell the DEC that they reimburse me for the payments for the owner. And it's not only one payment, because they did not sign the agreement, that they won't tell me not to sign the agreement. And there's damage to the house from the pipes, from the heating, from the cables, from the heat tapes. And
Do you know if they took care of the heating costs associated from last year?
no,
They did not.
did not. Again, they have a good PR, better than me. And I just got an email on I think on Tuesday from Mike Stratel saying that this accident happened like very fast. There was a complaint, they drain it and they clean it and they bring the water. It's not happened as on the email, just so simple.
And now it's a race against time before it gets cold again,
That's
so.
correct.
That's a reminder for us.
Can we please be quiet in the audience? Thank you.
So, and we close again to the winter again. So we only talk about temporary lines, not talking about the permanent lines.
Right,
Yeah,
but
well, I
we're
want
now
you-
September, and it's like we're getting a little frustrated because we're seeing the winter coming.
I want
So we
you,
don't wanna
you
have
guys to
it
know that
crashing in.
the town board, you know, and I've communicated to the attorney for the village, but under the town board's direction, that we do not view the water district as something necessary to get a permanent line installed, and it's the town's view that the permanent line should be installed regardless of whether the district is established yet, because the district can take some time. But that's an administrative thing, it doesn't help you. So we communicated to the village that, you know, we don't want the permanent line installation held up because of the formation of the water district, and that's this town board's position, so that that line could get in before the winter, and you don't want to have to deal with, you know, a temporary line that's going to freeze.
Secondly, thank you that I never got the insurance. I was always concerned. I just got a letter from my insurance that they're not happy with this tanker liabilities. This is it's not safe to pipes around. On the tanker there's a lot of bees, nests, and it's very not.
So, I mean, I would ask the tanker company to come out and get rid of the bee's nest for you. And did your insurance company approve?
No, I say they just only the other week. I hope so.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I say August 5th. I understand it'll be other week or two. This tanker can be gone.
Right. Yeah, but your children could get stung tomorrow. So I think it'd be wise if you called them and had them remove the bee's nest.
He's sprayed, but still, does it help?
Whatever it is.
Spray at night.
Yeah, spray it.
No, spray at night.
No, they
They're
can't
all in
see
the
it.
hive at that point.
And they can't see. But I'll ask later about
Again,
that.
thanks so
I
much
didn't know
for the
about
help
that.
of the town board. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And we'll continue to work
Yeah,
on it until it's
we
complete.
hope that we can get the village or Pinecrest to act on this.
Yeah, and our goal is to get it done prior to the end of November. So,
Again, I want to make sure that the rates that we.
don't worry about that.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
And the location, gotta make sure, because I don't have to get sewer, I'll make sure the location is not gonna interfere with the new sewer line.
Right. Oh, your septic over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a requirement. I mean, for any installation, they're going to have to factor that in on all the properties.
Yep.
Again, thanks so much.
Okay.
Can I say
Thank
something
you.
else or beside that?
Excuse me?
Can I say something else about beside old country, beside the water?
Sure, yeah.
I want to take John. I call him once. I see the cars. There was no stop sign on Durham Drive to Old Country. I make one phone call to John. The next day was a stop sign.
You made one phone call and he took care of it?
Next day.
I gotta make 6.
I tell him that the car's coming very fast. There's a big development by the village. The car's coming very fast. We make right turns.
Listen,
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you how good John is, because there was an exchange of emails recently where a gentleman had asked him to do something. And he admitted he dropped the ball. He said he would get out there and take care of it. And you know what? In the past, that wasn't done. You know, it was like, oh, you know, we'll get to it when we get to it. He still took care of it, and he admitted that, you know, he got lost in the shuffle because of the road projects that are going on. And it was something minor. It wasn't anything major. But you know, John is taking care of everybody in much better ways than has been done in the past.
So you told me that time maybe you gotta make a motion to the stop sign. Number one.
Well, the stop sign basically is up. If I don't know how, without a resolution from the board being passed to have a stop sign there, I don't know how legally, like, can they write a ticket or something like that?
So-
But at least it's up and it's helping, so that's all that counts.
The next step to make sure is process. Number one and number two. I also ask him about the speed limit. I see all over in the town it's like 25. In the city it's 25. And there's a small street, a big traffic, very fast. There's an office down the road. It's going very fast, and there's a lot of kids in Old Country more than ever before.
Are you talking about 105, or are you talking in the development?
I'm talking about
On Old
Old
Country?
Country Lamplight Village on the corner.
Right.
And there's an office, just a single building, office in the corner, the other side.
Oh, right.
It's very fast, so I'm asking to lower the speed to 20. Low, I do very slow. It's number one, and number two, other thing is there is a mechanic on the other side 105. They're testing the buses the last few years. I tried to stop them. We called the police a few times on them.
They're testing buses?
You're testing the brakes, he said before, testing the brakes or something.
Talking about Hershey's?
Yes, correct. Again, he's a nice guy, but I don't feel comfortable. There was kids that was home the last 2 weeks.
They come on your road and test the brakes?
That's correct. With the DOT inspector, there's a sign on the road. They're not coming over the limit.
Wait,
They're not
limit?
coming over country.
9,000 pound limit?
That's correct.
Something like that.
And with the inspector, with the DOT inspector, they come and violate the law. And I feel just for the safety of the kids, to me, more for.
Well, we can reach out to the state police and ask them to take a look at that. And that's primarily in the evening?
That's correct. And also there's the office building in the corner. And there's big traffic with trucks deliveries. There's a store at Residential Street. There's a lot of kids in the whole country. And the other thing is...
That's on Old Country, you're saying, or that's on behind you where the school is?
Old Country. There is a problem about crossing 105 and Jordan Drive to the other side 105. I called him Bob once in the highway department to ask me to call in the
County.
Orange County. I went down I talked to Mike Correll and the other supervisor over there. And then Rick told me today there's still the town's department, maybe. And there isn't possible to cross over the other side 105 because there's always green from one direction. It's almost impossible to cross. And there's some
well, let me ask you, what would be the purpose to cross?
Orbital lights.
What's that?
Orbital lights.
No, I think what he
Why-
means is
what's
why...
on the other
Why
side?
would you want to cross the road there?
So I walk into the village to PJ, or the whole neighborhood walks a lot, all walk.
And you're talking about,
You want to cross from Durant to crossing the 105.
so I would think it'd probably be best to put it at the intersection of the light.
Some kind of crosswalks. Also,
County.
What's that?
It's still a county no matter
it's a
what.
county road,
You know, it's
so-
still a county road, and I don't know what they would do for a crosswalk for you at that point.
I understand from the county there's coming a new development. Ball Hill Estates is coming up. It'll be a new light, and there's still not in the plans, in the engineering plans, any pedestrians to be in common at that point. And I think it's very important for the town to make sure
Yes.
we address it. Again, thanks so much for the town.
All right, thank you very much.
I appreciate the support for those all the time. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coming up.
Thank you.
Mrs. Dixler?
Hi, I'm Michelle Dixler. I live on Old Country Road, and I also want to thank Mr. Cardone and the board and Mr. Nugent and everybody who's been involved with helping us with this water situation. We've been working on it for a long time. We did see a letter from Mr. Shortell from the engineering company that the temporary line is supposedly going in by September 15th. I saw that as a date. Are there any penalties associated with these things if they don't do them?
Let me put it to you this way. The conversation Mr. Nugent and I had on Wednesday, Tuesday, today's Wednesday, pertained to just that regarding the permanent line. And I'd like to just move on from that because we want to, hold that in our pocket.
I don't understand what you mean.
I would like if we didn't discuss it in public here because we're working on that.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. So anything you can do, and with the traffic, the stop sign, I see people actually pausing, so I guess that's encouraging. But one of the big problems with the traffic is coming off 105 from the Larkin area and making a left into our street onto Durant Drive. There are countless people who on 105 coming from Monroe go into that turning lane before the block even ends. They're supposed to enter that after they pass Durant Drive. They do not. And I know a neighbor of mine who is since deceased, Mr. Dillon, had an accident there years ago, making a left turn, and he actually got the ticket from the police because he was turning left. But these people are just, there's nothing to tell them that they have to wait until they pass the block to get into the turning lane for Larkin. And it's very, very dangerous turning.
Let me speak to our county legislator, Peter Toohey, see if there's anything he can possibly address with this to hopefully get it rectified.
All right,
Might be a matter of, redoing the pavement markings over there so people are aware that, that the turn lane does not start before Durand and goes after.
They
right.
think they can go around 3 cars. Someone will give you a signal that you can turn, and then you have to peek, to make sure nobody is coming at you.
Yeah.
Okay, is that Mr. Amo? Is he
No, it's Mr. Toohey.
Mr. Toohey, okay.
Would you like me to email you his contact info?
Could you please? Sure. And if you can talk to him also, that would be great.
Yeah, what I will do is I will CC you on an email to him, outlining that you need some assistance.
Okay. All right, so thank you. We look forward to getting rid of the tanker truck on the road. And,
I'm sure.
I don't know why they're just not going immediately to the permanent
a
line.
lot
It's going to
cheaper.
cost them money to do
don't-
this temporary deal.
I don't either.
And it's going to freeze as soon as it gets cold. We had cold weather last year in December, very cold.
Well, we are pushing to have them completed by the end of November.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank
All
you
right?
very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Dixler.
Take care.
Anyone else on the Old Country Road issue?
Good evening. How are you today?
We're fine. Just state your name and where you live.
Jacob Beckel. I'm Larry Wickler's father. I want to thank you very much for being so concerned for what's going on here all the time. I know you are trying the best. I have spoken personally to Tony Cardone, Jerry Calone, the older people in the town. I know you're all concerned for the best. We purchased the property, my kids purchased the property a couple of years ago when water was still there and full. We had no idea that there was a water problem coming up. So later on the line, a couple of years later, we just found out that actually it's drying out. So Terry Old County Road has no water altogether. It's completely dry. Terry Old County Road, which I have owned and I have a tenant in there, is low in pressure. We had a bigger tank to have storage to deliver them water. We're not talking about it because it's not completely dry. And the other neighbor next to she is here. She's completely dry. She has no water whatsoever. She's finishing her house, Nelsie, right here. She's finishing the house and she cannot close and go for a mortgage for closing because there is no water in her house. And as far as I know, she needs to finish and get a mortgage and she can't. I just want to remind and go back a little bit for last winter what my kids went through. It was many numerous times when the line was frozen. I mean, if they're trying to warm it up and not trying to warm it up and keep it warm, I'm sure everybody tried. How much can you try in a freezing weather to warm up a hose, which goes like a garden hose, to a house from a tank? It's almost impossible, and it was a big struggle to make this happen. I would like to encourage you, the town of Monroe, you're presenting us. We are in your district. I heard last month when the official were here who has to support us to make this line from the village, the lawyer was here, Tom Cusick was here. They were saying they're going to be here today, and it's going to be a district created today. I'm not sure exactly what a district means, but as far as I heard and understood that according for them to bring in the water line, it has to be created a district, and you, the board, has the power to create a district. My question to you would be a little sarcastic maybe. Is there a possibility that you guys can vote today, making a motion to make a district so there's no hold off and no excuse anymore? Because you see,
here's what we're waiting for, Mr. Bickle. We're waiting for the maps, the plans, and reports for the district. We can't approve a district if we don't know where the lines are going, what size the lines are, any other specifics about it.
so,
I'll let our council
But
speak
this-
on that half.
Yeah, let me explain so you understand, and this is what I was touching on before when I was speaking to your son. The district has nothing to do and is not a requirement to get the water line installed, temporary or permanent. All the district really does is allow the village to bill the residents through a town water district so that there's some enforceable way to collect the money for the water. But they can install the temporary line tomorrow without a district. It's not a requirement.
can you give it to us in writing, what you just said?
Yeah, well, we said it to Mr. Protter, the attorney, when he was here last time, and explained that to him. They know that. The district is not, it's basically an administrative vehicle for the collection of the rents. But, for example, there is a village, other villages in Orange County that provide water to residents outside the village, and there is no water district. The downside is, if you don't pay your bill, they have to take you to court instead of being able to put a lien on your taxes and collect the money. That's all the water district's about in this case, because this is not a typical town water district, because we're not providing the water or the infrastructure. We are just providing the collection and the billing aspect of the village water system. So that is why we have communicated that we do not want this line held up because of the district. And in order for the district, the formation of the water district to start, the village needs to come into the town and file what's called the maps, plans, and reports, or MP&Rs for short. They haven't done that yet. And I spoke to Mr. Sturthout yesterday and said, we can't do anything until you file that. That's the first step under the law to form a water district. Once they file that, we review it, we set a public hearing, and you know, it does take a little time, and that's why we don't want that holding up the installation of the water line. If they have to wait a few months and someone doesn't pay their bill, then they wait a few months.
Thank you so much. I understand you're the lawyer from the town of Monroe. Sonny Cadon was very nice, and he came out when there was a meeting in Old Country Road, and Tom Cuser was there, maybe Mike Chattel, I'm not 100% sure. It was the end of the winter. This conversation goes on for month after month after month. You should see what's going on. We have small children, all of a sudden it's frozen. They have to go to neighbors, the toilets, the showers. There's nothing going on. And this is very emotional. And this is, I would like you guys to consider this as an emergency, because this is red tape. It's going on for no reason. I mean, to make a plan, this is not something which happened yesterday or last month or today. I mean, you see how fast they're building in KJ? It's approved yesterday, and tomorrow there's big buildings. How long took us actually? Let me represent myself or my village. How much took the village since it came into to become approved to be in there's big buildings already. I mean, the same or bigger or much more planning board and has to be in than this little thing. So why I'm saying it? Because if you want to do it, it would be done a long time ago. I heard it before. We're not going to do it in the winter because it's winter. Once it starts freezing, it's going to be done. Then the summer came. Then spring, it's not done. Nothing moved on. Now we have beginning of the winter. Last month, he was here asking for a temporary line. It's not understandable even why they're talking about a temporary line when for sure it's going to be frozen. Now they're going to be a temporary line. I understand we are talking about now to make a permanent line, but doing a temporary line is completely ridiculous when it's going to be frozen. In 4 weeks from now, they're not going to be done in 4 weeks, because when it comes to matters like this, I don't know if you know, you'll find out it takes more than 4 weeks to make a plan. It takes a long time to make such a plan, because it has to be an old country road, it has to be tapped into the main line, it's an 8-inch line, so it's a bigger plan. Then it has to be next to a sewer line, maybe there's a gas line. All of these things takes a long time. I'm being sarcastic a little bit.
No, I
I'm joking
understand
about
that, and let me just say this, Mr. Bickle. We are working as fast as we possibly can because we don't have control over the water.
I know that.
So if.
Is there
you know,
any
I
legal
don't
leverage?
think you received any faster movement
No, you guys are the best.
once we got involved.
I know.
So let us do what we have to do, and we'll make sure that it gets
Is there
done
kind of
by.
like an emergency you guys can do or something?
If we declared an emergency, we still don't have the water to give you. You know what I mean? It's not like we have town wells or something there
Yeah,
that we could.
I just want you to understand, as
Yeah.
we sit here today in this town, there is nothing that the town board is doing
Leverage.
to stop or delay this project. We don't have control over the water. The installation could go forward tomorrow. We provided an agreement, hasn't been signed and returned yet, but there is nothing today that the town board is doing that's holding this up.
In that agreement is for a temporary line or
That's
for a
for the
permanent
temporary line right
so
now.
can we pass that and do a permanent line? That's my
No, I think where the confusion's coming in is that it was said once before, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Nugent, that they can put in the permanent line as they're doing the paperwork. In other words, we're calling it temporary, but they really can put the line in the ground as they were going to, according to what their engineer specifies, as the paperwork progresses. So I think what we have to do is go back to the village, KJ, and tell them, hey, you can put the line in while you're doing the paperwork. Is that correct, sir?
I think that's accurate. I
Can
mean,
I-
look, I think I
You
asked
can
that
ask them to do
question at
that.
one point, why they didn't just go right to the permanent line and.
Go right to the permanent line.
I would appreciate, I mean, I think this is the right place to ask for it. We all talk verbally, you know, everybody can watch the video later on what we were talking about. I would like to, you saying it, and I understand it clearly what you're saying, and I understand it from Tony, you explained it very well. From the town point of view, it could be in. The only reason why we need, or whoever needs a district, is to collect the money. By the way, talking about collections, I also would like to ask, you guys gonna make an agreement with the village about water? If possible, we had free water from the wells, so.
Mr. Bickle, can we?
Next.
can-
Okay, so so I would like to ask you about, to be something, if I can have an email that you guys allow to put in a permanent line like instant with other district. I would enjoy to have such a, maybe I can help.
We cannot put a permanent line to provide you
No,
with
I
water.
think what you're saying is that they're allowed, the village is
Yes.
allowed to install the
Yes.
permanent line without a
Even
water
if you're
district.
like, if I have something like a limitation, maybe I can put some leverage of one of, I don't know.
I have no problem if the board is fine with that, sending an email. We did state right here where Mr. Trotter, the attorney for the village, was here, and I said the same thing. You don't need the water district in order to put in the line.
I watched the video.
I know
very
why they want the
carefully.
water district, I get it, they want to be able to collect, but if it takes a few more months to finish the water district, and it takes till February, get the line in now and get it done.
All the respect to everybody, can I have something in writing from the town of Monroe, so maybe I can show it for one of people, have some kind of leverage, because nobody is here, and
I don't mind writing something.
nobody is here.
I guess you can send them, I guess you can send them
I have to
a.
go to shul, into my people, or
Yeah.
people with influence, shout out, see what's happening here. The town of Monroe allows you to put in a permanent line right away, so the whole, Mr. Family Bickle and other families can have water right away, shouldn't suffer. So once I have this, maybe I can go to the higher authorities, whoever has power, and show him, listen, this is what's going on.
Are you talking about a letter that would help you with the DEC? And
No.
No, with the
I'm talking
village.
The village.
You want something with the village.
Village of KJ.
Inside.
Yeah, in other words, saying,
In KJ.
put the line in and we'll
Saying that you
work.
don't need the water
Yeah.
district to go ahead with the
All right, so
permanent
I'll
line.
make a motion that we authorize Mr. Nugent to draft a letter stating that the town of Monroe,
That it's the town's position that the water line, the permanent water line can be installed without the formation of a water district,
right.
and that can go forward. And again, it doesn't mean we don't need to do the water district or that we're not going to, but the line could get done. That's the problem right now. is
We have
getting
an-
the line in. So
Yes.
get the line in. If the water district takes a few more months, like I said, maybe you're gonna have to go after people
I'm
for a couple
hoping and
months.
thinking and hoping that once I have a clear letter, what we was just talking here, I mean, we all on the same side.
It's an urgent issue.
Right, but before we forget, I'd like to second that motion. I'd like to second the motion so we can vote on it and get that done.
all right.
All right,
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
McGinn,
So-
aye.
Okay.
My email's on there. Send
Alright.
me your email, and then I will send a
Thank
letter
you
back.
very,
All right, everyone, that,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
we can get that done for you.
Thank you so much. You-
All
I
right?
really believe that you guys are the best.
I,
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Nelsie.
pull the
Pull the microphone.
down, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nelsie Pastrano Ridula, and I live in 24 Old Country Road. It's been a while that house had been rebuilt, and I'm hoping I can go back, but there is no water. So I hope. I know it's kind of like I'm pleading, like if
You-
that can be done.
Yes, and we're working diligently to get it done. It's not in our control, so we're doing everything we can to make it happen. It's not like we have the water. Another municipality has the water.
But that's why we're gonna send a letter out right away
Yeah, because
from our attorney.
when I leave that place, I have water, and all of a sudden, when I see like, wow, there's none, really none.
Right,
It's just from the well that I have.
okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, do you have the public comment list?
I actually have 3 residents on here from Old Country Road that I believe already spoke.
They just spoke.
Okay. Okay, so then we'll start with Lorraine Loning.
Good evening, Lorraine Loning, Village of Monroe. Tonight, I just want to talk about 6.3, your part-time data entry operator. I know you moved it to executive, but I'm actually glad you did that. It's customary for this board to, when they hire hourly employees, to report the wage dollars per hour. And this time you did it 17 and a half hours a week with the maximum annual salary of $29,900. I was wondering why it was the departure from the norm for this one.
Because we have to agree on what that wage is. That's why we're going into executive session.
Okay, because I mean, I did the math on this one, and it's a lot. I mean, last month you hired a woman, Lindsay, for $18.25 an hour, part-time clerk, which I'm guessing is in the finance department is essentially the same gig, right?
No, it's not.
No? Okay, well, anyway, this person is around, if they work 52 weeks and 17 and a half hours, it's almost $33 an hour. So that's substantial. When I did a search for data entry operator or clerk in Indeed, it came up in Monroe between $12 and $18 an hour. So this diverges from that quite a bit. So I was hoping that when you do this, you could report that wage as $1 per hour, as you customarily do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Ward Brower.
Ward Brower, private citizen. What's the status? I heard the status about the dump, the former dump, electric generating power plant. When does that come online?
Solar farm?
Solar farm?
Yeah.
That's, we're right now dealing with,
An operator.
we're dealing with a company that right now is claiming to have the rights to it, which is not the original company, which was on Force. So Mr. Nugent has been working with that company, as have I, trying to get to some sort of an assessment of what direction we're going to go in.
Mike, do you remember what the projected output of that plant was?
2.1.
And how would that compare with the burden that we need to?
We take up about 1.5, Brian, is it? 1.5
Yeah,
or 6?
1.5.
Yeah.
Was significant if it comes online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good. And the other thing is, the Moodna Creek Watershed Intermunicipal Council, which we are a member of. Hope you guys joined up again.
Yeah, we did.
I was an alternative member. John Ebert was the first. But now we need a new alternative member, and I suggest to you put Joe Corona, the Conservation Commission.
Okay. Could you do me a favor? Could you have Joe email Jen, my secretary?
I'll have my secretary. I don't email.
That's fine, yeah,
Okay.
just email her, because she's the one that filled the form out and sent the check in.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mike
Mr.
Goldstein?
Is there anybody else on the list after that?
No.
All right, so Mr. Bick.
This is
Glad
sort
you
of
want to
a
speak.
quick question. It has to do with the Smith Farm. I believe you read what the revised seeker was, and the air conditioner came on at that time. But if I got it right, it's 58,700 gallons per day, and I couldn't hear what the sewage thing was. But
86,000.
86,000?
Yep.
How can we produce 86,000 gallons of sewage on 58,000 gallons of water? Huh? With rain buckets?
I don't think, listen, I'm not an engineer, but I don't believe it's an equal thing, and I don't tend to know why that is.
Well, I know in
But
my house.
the engineers that did this, you know.
Something doesn't make sense. You can't produce that much sewage from 59,000 gallons of water. If they pumped all of that through the sewer system and didn't use any,
I think,
Would it be runoff as well?
I think, to clarify that, I think the 68,000 gallons was from the town part, the
Okay.
water, and the 86,000 was from the entire project.
Oh, okay. That wasn't clear. Thank you.
That's all.
Mr. Bickle?
Another question. The village said before that they're gonna pay the costs for the attorneys, the legalities. If the neighbor, if the street they never wanna hire something or review
We
something.
can't, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
My question is, the village say last time.
Talking to the mic.
They're gonna pay.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay for the legalities and the fees, for everything to go to the next step. One night was a meeting in my house discussing about hiring maybe someone for any legal help. My question is if this is something that we can ask the village also, this should be a part of the legal fees.
I would think that would have to come from them.
It would have to come from them, and, you know, I'd defer to their village attorney. It
Yeah.
would be a very difficult thing to do, to have municipal monies going towards private, you know, person's attorney.
Are you hiring an attorney?
No, maybe I'm asking too. Maybe you don't need to hire. Maybe you do the whole job. You don't need to hire even.
I don't understand.
Wait a second.
I don't understand why you would need to hire an attorney.
That's correct. I'll make sure.
We're working on this.
Beautiful. Also, other question. I don't want to say anything against any contractor, but my question is if we can trust this contractor in this company that's on top of this contractor, because they always have only say something, say always good. It's me to say, when I got the letter after this last board meeting, and I got a letter from this company, I feel, come on, I'm Tomm Monroe, and they're representing someone. I'm not in the village, in a different town. I'm this town. I got a letter from a different town. I don't feel comfortable with that. For me to say, I'm very comfortable in Tomm Monroe.
I don't understand.
You
your
got,
question.
in other words, the letter you're gonna get from us is gonna,
No,
is that what you're
I
talking
want the
about?
town should be on top of this contractor and this project.
Oh, in other words, our inspector, building inspector and engineer.
Well, John will be on top of them too, because it's got to do with
Not to
roads.
cheat on the material, not to cut any corners. Like I got this water on Friday, it said it's good. It just passed the other part. This water comes from little water. I don't want to have this project to be done.
Do you have confidence in what we've done so far?
Yes, that's 100%.
Okay, so don't worry about it.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
That was good.
That was good, good
All
answer.
right. Anything else? Anyone else? No? Okay. So I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel, and are we talking, council, are we talking about any of the ongoing lawsuits?
Yeah, we're talking about now pending litigation
All right.
and the employment matter.
Okay. All right, so I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn,
Okay, so moved. Okay, motion to come back into our regular meeting session. I'll make a motion.
Second, Cologne.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn,
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint April McDonald, our assessor, for another 7-year term, beginning October 1st, 2019, at her current salary.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I,
Okay. And I don't want to mess this motion up, so I'd like to make a motion to hire part-time data entry operator Helen Weeks Knickerbocker at a rate of $36 per hour for a maximum of $30,000 a year.
It was 29.9, but
It's 29.9, 29,900.
but that's up to you guys.
Yeah. Okay, which equates to approximately 15.8 hours a week, I believe. Okay.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
again, I.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second by Cologne.
Third.
Third, fourth, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I.
Okay, thank you very much.